Hi, I'm Town Councilor Jesse Gordon here with Holbrook Select member William Watkins at the water plant, the Holbrook Randolph Water Plant. That's the Braintree plant over there. And we're talking about having a discussion about PFAS in the water. And Select Board member Watkins, you want to introduce the subject to the people of Holbrook a little bit?
Yes, PFAS is what they call the forever chemical. And it's that chemical, if put into your system, could really damage your system. Not only that, but your life. And it is one of those things that we do not want to ingest at any parts per trillion. It doesn't matter if the federal government is at 70 parts per trillion or the state at 20 parts per trillion. Over time, those trillions will add up in your body.
That's the big issue, is that it's the forever chemical, they accumulate.
Right.
And you want to hold on me for a moment?
Yes.
So over here, this water has been tested. That's our reservoir water for Braintree and Holbrook and Randolph. This plant is only for Holbrook and Randolph. The issue is that the forever chemical is in the water, and what do we do about it? We got two ways to deal with it. One on the input side, one on the output side. On the input side, we can do testing. On the output side, we can do filtering. I'm introducing a resolution at the Randolph Town Council to do both, to explore what can we do for filtering and can we add to the state and Braintree testing in Randolph and Holbrook.
Now, Jesse, I know you went over to Tri-County and asked them questions to the Braintree plant. Now, could you explain to our audience what is the difference in terms of jurisdiction?
Yep.
Because we have some people think that we have to get authorization from the Tri-County to do something with our plant here. Could you just explain that to them?
Yep. So the water in the reservoir itself is run by the Tri-Town Board. That's all three towns. That plant over there is run only by Braintree right now, and this plant here is run by another organization called the Joint Board, which is Holbrook and Randolph only. When the new plant is built, the plant will be run by the Tri-Town Commission, but right now, once the water comes out, it's the responsibility of the Joint Board legally, and in fact, it's the Randolph DPW who actually runs this plant.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jesse, it was an interesting conversation you had over at Braintree in terms of when do you think that the new Tri-County would come on board? Because one of the issues that we are challenged with is some of our residents and some of our colleagues believe that it would be a waste of money or time to do anything with ours, and that we should wait the number of months or whatever it would be.
Right.
Could you explain to our listening audience, our viewing audience, what do you think that timetable is after your conversation?
So officially, the new plant will go online in about 2 years. It'll start construction sometime this year, and then there's going to be an overlap period of 1 year where both the old plant and the new plant are running at the same time. Councilor Watkins has brought up that these schedules tend to shift quite often, and it could take longer than that. And also, Braintree decided this month to replace their filter material again because they think it's going to be another 2 years or so until the new plant is online, and therefore it's worthwhile to replace the material again a second time. We haven't even done it yet a first time. And let me ask you, Mr. Watkins, about the details of the timing, because you brought up the norm is that these things take longer than you think.
Absolutely. These sort of things are going to take longer because right now we're still in a pandemic. And one of the biggest issues of this pandemic is the supply chain. The supply chain issue is a big issue. And when we're talking about taking on big projects like this that are 2-year projects in itself, there are going to be some problems in terms of trying to do that. So it's a bigger ask. It's a bigger amount of materials that you would have to get versus trying to retrofit what our existing facility is under right now. And what I'm finding out, even in talking with residents, it's still an education piece that has to go on to get them to understand. Yesterday I was on a call with some residents, and an older woman, she asked me, what is PFAS? And she had lived in Holbrook for over 40 years.
Right.
And she didn't know what PFAS was, but I understood that her children did, because her children make sure that she has water in her home.
Right. Now, about that 40 years, at your water forum, I heard that some people brought up, well, what about when I cook with this water? What happens and what's the long-term health effect?
Oh, Jesse, that's a great question. I would like to see a health study done because many of our ethnic groups, their diet is rice and pasta. And I remember a gentle lady in that session coming up and mentioning the fact that she cooks with that water. And she had cancer. And she had been in the town for over 40 years. So I would like to see us, Jesse, somehow, some way to focus in on a health study of both of the towns to find out, because that would be a strong argument for anyone to say, if our town has this forever chemical and it's being digested by many of our residents. And Jesse, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I even forget. When I am brushing my teeth, and
that counts.
Right, and I'm brushing my teeth, and I don't have a fresh bottle of water standing in my bathroom, I rinse my mouth out.
Right.
So it's really something that we all need to take very conscientious steps to preventing.
Right.
But the last thing I want to say to this too is that there's an election season.
Yep.
There are going to be plenty of candidates, and the ones that I would focus in on in terms of PFAS is your Attorney General. Mm-hmm. Whoever's running for your Attorney General's office, you need to make sure, Randolph and Holbrook need to make sure that PFAS is on the table.
Right.
When we're talking about our representatives, our state representatives from the House or the Senate, that needs to be on the agenda. Any agenda
Absolutely.
that they bring forth. PFAS need to be on the agenda.
Absolutely. And we'll sign off. This is Town Councilor Jesse Gordon from Randolph and Councilor William Watkins from Holbrook at the Reservoir. We need your help to get these issues pushed through in Randolph and Holbrook. It is going to be a fight to get them pushed through. But you can check out my website, jessegordon.com/PFAS. That's capital PFAS. And all the information is there, including this video and the water forums and other information. Thank you very much.
Thank you.